Hello, Houday Nation. You are watching Houday Network. I'm Carson.
I'm Parker.
And today we're going to be talking about the Bengals OTAs and how it's going to affect the overall, just the whole season.
Yeah, so we're just going to discuss all the news coming out of OTAs this week and previous weeks, maybe like rookie minicamp, all that stuff, and just how good the season is looking, how we think that's all going to turn out.
I would say the first thing to discuss, we both saw this, Trent Brown at guard. What's going on with that?
I feel like this is a psycho move. I mean, it's in my head. I want to be like the little immature Bengals fan that's like, oh, Cordell Volson wasn't very good last year. Trent Brown is good. Plug and play. Yeah. It gets better. But also, so you're putting Trent Brown at right guard. He was going to play right tackle. You're going to put Alex Kappa at left guard. He was originally playing right guard. And now you're putting Amarius Mims at right tackle, which I like Amarius Mims and I like all those guys. But you go from having now a veteran right tackle and maybe a weak left guard to having 3 out of 5 guys in your offensive line not having very much experience. I mean, Kappa can play guard. And I'm sure he's played a little bit of left guard, but his time on the Bengals has been specifically right guard.
Yeah.
As far as I know, Trent Brown has been a tackle his entire career.
Yeah, I'm not sure with Trent Brown, to be honest.
He's built like a tackle.
I would assume he's not a guard.
6'8", 350 or whatever he is. That's an offensive tackle. And then Amarius Mims, again, 8 games started in college. So, I mean, I don't know.
He's athletic enough to be a tackle, but it's just his play style is more for a guard. And I guess I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say athletic enough to be a tackle because it all depends. I mean, guards pull, or I meant tackle. I meant guard, but I mean tackles pull too. I mean everybody does, so it's kind of like it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of the position that he plays as tackle. Yeah, I mean I would say definitely they're gonna want Mims to play tackle, and I think honestly it's okay with just having Trent Brown play tackle this year, or if Mims is good enough to play over him, have Mims play tackle this year, and then just have Trent Brown keep coaching him and kind of telling him what to do. And he's a good backup to have because they're not paying Trent Brown that much.
They're not. No,
they got to remember that they're not even paying Trent Brown much. They should be paying him more. They really aren't paying him much at all.
A pretty stinging good deal.
Yeah, and then you've got Orlando Brown on the other side, who I think is going to continue to have a better year. And then Kappa, which it's like if they just keep their same lineup. Adding in, whether it's Mims or Brown, I think they're in a good spot because I think Cordell's going to probably play better this year. I mean, I hope. If not, then, I mean, so what? He didn't play good last year, and they were still a decent O-line. They weren't great, but they were good enough.
Yeah.
I think they'll find a way to make it work. And, I mean, if that's Trent Brown playing guard,
it just – we graded the Amarius Mims pick very high in our draft grades, and I think part of that was because – he's an athletic freak who they were able to draft because of a lack of experience. I think we both said that if he had that college experience and that highlight tape and those stats, he would have been gone already because of his athletic frame. So I think we both said that he fell because of that lack of experience. And I said I like that pick so much because he can sit behind Trent Brown, who has a very similar frame to. I mean, Trent Brown.
Yeah, they're a similar
bigger
player,
but it's both tough if they're just plugging him right in. And he could turn out, I'm not saying he couldn't because he's built like an NFL lineman. I've heard people say he could be great. But I just wanted to see that year of development behind Trent Brown, and then you figure that out. Also, I did say at one point, because I think you said something about maybe Mims playing guard, and I remember saying something about how you don't want a 6'8" guard because Burrow does not drop back that far in the pocket. I don't know if you remember that very well, but I said something. I don't think we were talking about Trent Brown. I think you were talking about Mims, and you were like, maybe Mims could play left guard. And I was like, and maybe with a better offensive line, he can start dropping back farther. But he notoriously throughout his career has not dropped back very far, and he gets balls batted down all the time.
Yeah.
So,
and that could create some problems. So it's like, I was gonna say something. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but And and I know you said you think it's good to have him develop and sit behind Trent Brown, but I don't think it's a bad thing with him getting that on-field experience and playing. Yeah. I mean, if he's ready and he's good enough to where he can beat out Trent Brown and play right tackle, have him play right tackle. I mean, it's all like I said, it's fine. Honestly, I think it's better for him to be on the field to be able to learn. But like I said, Trent Brown I think is going to be good at being able to coach him and kind of get him, like refine him to the player he needs to be. Because, like I said, they're a similar player. They're both going to be playing the same position. So I think regardless of what happens, whether he starts or he sits behind Trent Brown, I think it's going to work out, and I think the pick's going to be a good pick as long as he's not like a dud player, as long as he's not like a Billy Price or anything. If he's a good player, I think the picks. Work. If he's a good NFL player, I think that the pick's going to work out. And for guard, I mean, like I said, if Cordell Volson isn't able to make that adjustment and change, like his gameplay be better, can Matt Lee transition to guard? Matt Lee respond on Instagram? I don't know, maybe. If not, I think Matt Lee was a good pick for the center position because they don't have anything behind Karras. I think he's more of a depth piece. And he has the experience to be able to play guard if he has to.
Also, Jackson Carman is still there. And I know he's majorly a tackle, but he's played some guard for the Bengals before.
Jackson Carman has played guard, and I don't know. From what I've seen of Jackson Carman, I like when he gets in there because he just attacks people.
Yeah.
But I don't know everything, and there's the side of all the stuff that happened, whether that's true or not, I don't know. And what type of person Jackson Carman is. We don't know how he performs all the time because, I mean, you don't see all the errors just as a fan watching.
Yeah, very well.
So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Jackson Carman's a bad player, but like I said, you don't see everything. I just see the big explosive things that he does, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But...
So I don't
know. I mean, they have some depth now. They really do. I think that's what's good because they have a little bit of guard depth. They have some tackle depth, and they have center depth. They did not have that last year.
I mean, you have Trey Hill, who I think we said has played guard before, so he's there. I don't think he's very solid, but I mean it's there if they need someone to plug in for Cordell Volson.
And I mean, Cody Ford's there too.
That's
not great, but he has experience.
Yeah.
Matt Lee doesn't have a lot of NFL experience, but he's able to play some different spots. And if he was a late pick, but if he's gonna be a good quality player who comes in and is able to perform well, I think that he's gonna be able to have a spot there somewhere in the rotation too.
Yeah.
I think their offensive line as a whole, they're in a good spot and they have some depth now. I think they just got to figure out what they want to do with it.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to talk about, which we didn't discuss this before, I was so high on the Josh Newton pick, and from what I've seen with rookie minicamp and OTAs, he's been very solid.
Are you just saying that because he locked up Ocho Cinco?
He locked up Ocho Cinco, and I've seen play clips. I mean, he hasn't. I haven't seen any clips of him lining up against Jamar or T. I mean, T hasn't been there, or Jermaine Burton. But, the guys like your Kwame Lassiters and your Stanley Morgans.
Stanley Morgan's not on the team anymore.
Okay. Your Kwame Lassiters or,
those type of players. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Guys who've been on the team.
Yes, and they have NFL experience. He's looked very solid against them. I mean, for a fifth-round corner that just jumped in, I think he has... At least from what I've seen, exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get that out there real quick because I remember grading that pick very high. Because
I think I graded it low, but I think the reason I graded it low was mainly because of the position he plays, not because of the player.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, so what? I mean, he can be a good player. And even if we don't need that, which I think we need, I'm not saying we don't need corners, but I'm saying... I don't think we need like an abundance of corners because I think we have depth at corner.
Yeah.
Like we need, I think, more quality play of starting corners. But there's depth.
Yeah.
So like Dax Hill, for example, they've been talking about him saying he's been making progress.
Yeah.
That's all I've heard. We haven't seen anything with that. So I mean that's good. I mean if he's able to transition, DJ Turner is probably one of the most athletic corners in the league. He has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Cam Taylor-Britt played great last year. He got hurt,
when he wasn't injured, he was a very solid corner, I thought.
Yeah. And then we still got Mike Hilton too.
Yeah, who's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, he's still playing at a very high level.
He is. I mean, his coverage at times isn't the greatest.
But man, that dude can tackle.
He makes up for it with your tackles and your surprise blitzes.
It comes out of nowhere.
And all that. I mean, I swear his mind just like a switch flips, and he's like, "Oh, I can get this, dude."
And it's good. Like they always complain about like size, like, "Oh, you're not big enough." Well, with Mike Hilton, I think he uses his size to an advantage. I think he uses it to his advantage though, and they use that. Lou uses that because he knows he's a smaller guy and he can disguise him a little bit. They may not see him as well as like all the other big dudes out there. Like he's a smaller guy, he can run in there and they won't even see him coming.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's what happens a lot when he blitzes. Like the quarterback, he'll come from the other side, they won't even see him, and then they're down.
I mean, you got your offensive linemen, your defensive linemen, who are like your Mack trucks. You know? And then you have this Mini Cooper running off the edge that hits you with the same speed and strength. He struggles in coverage sometimes because he is small. I mean,
he's a little older, so he's not as athletic as all the young guys.
But there's some level of football knowledge there that I love about Mike Hilton, because he can. I mean, he knows the snap count and he can read. He just reads the O-line so well, and he's just so entertaining to watch. Yeah. Although he does have times where he just thinks he has, like, if there's a veteran quarterback back there who's just like, oh, this guy's been timing up my snap count, I'm just going to do it differently, and he just comes flying in before he even snaps it. I think Roethlisberger did that to him.
I don't remember, but
because Roethlisberger played with him. Yeah. There was a Steelers game where Mike Hilton just came flying off the edge, and the quarterback just looked at him and was like, dude, and he's like, I thought I had it.
But with the corners, is there anything else you want to talk about with the corners, really?
I mean, not really. I mean, they said Dax Hill's been playing well.
Yeah, Dax Hill, I think he'll be able to transition outside corner. Like I said, I think there's depth there, and I think it's more of, it's not like we have any like premier, like we have any like Jalen Ramseys on our team, but like I think we have a lot of depth, and we have a smart-minded defensive coordinator where he'll be able to put these good players. Yeah. Like I said, maybe we don't have like amazing players, but we have good players that we're able to put in different positions and being able to utilize our depth. Yeah, which I think is good. But then, so if that's all in corner, I do know. Speaking of Mike Hilton made some comments. Mike Gesicki, that's one big slot receiver. Yes, I do know that. He played a lot of slot receiver at Miami. Will he do that at Cincinnati?
I really don't think so. I mean, it depends how the T. Higgins situation turns out. Because say T. Higgins gets traded, which at this point I really doubt. But you never know. And say Jermaine Burton does become that wide receiver 2 and he's an outside wide receiver, then you might need a slot guy. But right now, Jermaine Burton is that slot guy. And outside of the red zone and surprise packages, I don't see him getting any reps out of the slot.
But is Jermaine Burton really going to be playing on the field every rep in the slot? No.
I think quite a few. I mean, not every rep, but I think quite a few. But then again, you
got to think about it. He's a rookie. Yeah. They have Jamar, who plays in the slot. He played in the slot actually quite a bit last year. I don't think it's going to be as much as last year. I think they're going to tone it down a little now that they have Jermaine Burton. And then they also Trenton Irwin can play in the slot. He plays a little bit everywhere. Charlie Jones can play in the slot. Charlie Jones, I think what they're going to want to do this year is mainly utilize those two, Charlie Jones and Jermaine Burton, in the slot. And I think they're both, honestly, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. I would think Jermaine Burton would be getting more of the playing time, but I could definitely see Charlie Jones having a decent role in the slot and being on the field quite a bit still. Yeah. And then, like the Trenton Irwins, I still see him getting on the field a little bit. Yoshi, definitely see him getting on the field. Yeah,
Yoshi will definitely get playing time.
But, I think I could see Mike Gesicki playing in the slot, like I said, we were talking about earlier, in the red zone. I mean, because here's the thing. Okay, you have to realize, Mike Gesicki is, I think, like 6'6". He's athletic, too. He's very athletic. So he's a lot bigger than these small slot corners that he's going to be matched up against. He also has the speed and athleticism. Now, is he more athletic than these guys? Probably not. He's way bigger than them, but he has way more size than them. I mean, there's different routes he can run where Burrow can throw the ball to him to where only he can get it, and these smaller guys, they're not even going to be able to touch it. So I think, like, close to the red zone, or if we're trying to pick up first downs, like just short yardage gains, and it doesn't even have to be anything like we need to get it. Just like if they want to go have him on a route to gain short yardage so it's there in case nothing else is opened up, I could definitely see him playing out of the slot a little. And then also to maybe confuse them a little bit to the defense, because if this guy's lined up in the slot all the time and he's running these short routes, I mean, they could throw him on a deep route and throw long. Like I said, he's got a lot of length and size. Yeah. He's going to be able to catch up over top of these smaller guys, or maybe just use him just blocking and kind of throwing some different blocking schemes there for a run play. So I think there's a lot of diversity with Mike Gesicki, like you said, and I do agree. I don't think he's going to be in the slot very much, but I think they will utilize him in the slot more than what you think. I don't think like every possession or like every game, but I do think he's going to have some usage in the slot.
There will be plays.
Just because there's going to be, and Zach Taylor, the way he calls plays, there's going to be plays where he's probably going to be in the slot because
with Zach Taylor, there might be plays where he's on the outside. Because Zach Taylor is just, can occasionally just be a psycho.
There's going to be wacky
throw out
plays.
There whatever he wants.
And hey, if you want to, like I said, I mentioned before, the tight end sweep that I was at the game where they ran that.
Sweep.
If they have Mike Gesicki, that's the most athletic tight end they've had in a while, so maybe he actually could get it to work. I mean,
I don't know about the tight end sweep. They've tried it multiple times and it never turns out very well. But
it may work sometime. Maybe they'll make it a Super Bowl this year, and that'll be what wins a game. Maybe they'll have like Drew Sample.
I will give you $100 on the spot if the Bengals make the Super Bowl and the last play is a tight end sweep to Mike Gesicki and he scores and they win. $100. I'll put it on it right now.
What if it happens at any point in the game? They do a tight end sweep and it gets a touchdown.
Okay. If they do a tight end sweep in the Super Bowl and they get a touchdown, I'll give you $50.
Okay.
If it is the winning play of the game, like last second, he runs it in, I'll give you $100.
All right, everybody.
This is on camera.
This is on camera.
Because it's not happening.
Just said
tight end sweeps do not work.
It's not going to happen.
I've been to Bengals games. I've watched so many Bengals games. They always try it. They never work. But
it could.
I mean, I just want you coming out of the slot. One of the things I was thinking of. I mean, yeah, you could put a slot corner on him, but also a lot of the time that could take a middle linebacker out.
That's what I was going to say. Linebackers plays in the slot.
I mean, we've talked about the running back room, how it might not be strong in whatever, but you move him to the slot, maybe that middle linebacker, and you can make that read there, where if there's a corner lined up against him, maybe you look that way. If a middle linebacker starts drifting over there, maybe you hand it off. Maybe it's an RPO.
See, and that's actually another thing to think about too, because say that they're more acclimated to, like, say they start out like the game and Mike Gesicki's playing some reps in the slot. Maybe they're going to be trying to get their linebacker to drift over other than their slot corner, just because they're going to be bigger and maybe they can match up better with him.
Yeah,
and then they can kind of throw something at them where they make it like they disguise Mike Gesicki, make it look like he's in the slot, run a motion or something, like some weird play, or then like a receiver swaps over and then they confuse the defense. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know exactly. I'm not a football coach, or definitely not an NFL coach, but I think that there's ways that they can use him, to confuse the defense. Like, he doesn't even have to be out there catching passes for him to make an impact, just because of how athletic of a tight end he is. I think there's going to be just so many ways that they can use him that we're not even going to be thinking about. But yeah, I think Mike Gesicki is going to be a good addition to the team.
Yeah,
that's what I'd say. Anything next you want to talk about?
I mean, we could talk about the wide receivers probably
That's
for a while.
What I was going to say.
Jamar and T not showing up for the first week. They're still not mandatory, I don't believe.
I don't think so, no, because T hasn't been there.
Yeah, but you had Jamar not showing up. You don't really know what that's about. I mean, instantly people jump to, it's a contract issue, yada, yada, yada. You don't know that's what that was about. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I hope he gets paid this offseason. He might not. Who knows? But now he's showing up. I mean, Trey Hendrickson has been here the whole time. I'm just throwing
Trey is not going. Trey is going to play. He's going to be on the team.
Yes.
Trey is a guy who wants to get in there. He wants to play football.
Yes, he wants
That's
to be
his
in
main
Cincinnati.
Goal. He's not like, I'm not saying by any means Jamar or T, they're like greedy people. Everybody wants to get paid.
Yeah.
But Trey, and the situation is different with Trey Henderson too. I mean, he's guaranteed money.
Yes. Trey Henderson is already on a large contract.
Trey Henderson is you can just tell just when he's out there playing. He's one of those guys.
He wants to be there.
He wants to be there. He wants to be on the field. I mean, he's on the field a lot. They take him off the field. I mean, they have to take him off the field. But he plays through injuries. He wants to be on the field. I mean, no matter what. And I'm sure those guys do too. And I'm sure a lot of the players do, but there's just something with Trey Hendrickson. You can just see it, just watching the game.
Yeah.
And he's just always fighting. He's always going 100%, constantly.
Yeah.
And so, that's a guy right there. I knew from the beginning, as soon as it came out, it's probably something with his agent. They're trying to get him extra money. It makes sense. Why wouldn't you try to get extra money?
Yeah.
But when there's the opportunity,
he was
there.
One of the ones. When I saw T requested a trade, I was like, man. But then when I saw Trey
wide
Henderson
receivers
requested a trade, I was like, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, he's not.
I mean, and then he showed up as early as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even like the first days,
Yeah,
it was like,
he was there.
here's Trey Hendrickson, he's practicing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he's locked in.
And the thing is, too, is that, I mean, with wide receivers, it's a little different, too. I mean, wide receivers, it's harder. It's a team most likely isn't going to be paying 2 wide receivers top dog money.
Yeah.
They're more likely to pay a defensive end and a wide receiver top money. Yeah. I mean, it's just how it is. Yeah. I mean, they're just probably not going to do that. I mean, so T could definitely stay with the team. I'm not saying he's not going to. I mean, but it's just he would have to take less, and he'd have to be willing to do that.
Yeah, I think so. Jetta's new contract is 4 years, 140, right?
Honestly,
I think that's
don't
what
remember.
it is. I think he just signed it. Which, as soon as I read that, I was like, "Dang it!" Because I knew it was going to screw up the wide receiver market.
Yeah,
I believe it's 4 years, 140, which is $35 million a year. Which I always said that was what Jamar was going to want. I always told my dad that. I always told everybody that. I was like, Jamar, whenever it comes time for that extension, is going to want $35 million a year. I said he's going to want to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league, and he will be. Like, I mean, now he gets extended. Now, the Bengals do – this is one of my critiques with the Bengals. They did this last offseason with Joe Burrow. They're going to do this offseason with Jamar Chase. They let everybody else get extended, so then they have to pay the players as much as possible. I mean, talk about last offseason.
I don't know why they do that.
It was like – I think it was like Justin Herbert got paid, and so everybody was like, wow, he's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. And then Lamar Jackson got paid, and it was like, wow, now he's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. And then Joe Burrow comes in and makes – $1 million more a year than those guys, and it's like, why did you wait?
And I think the thing is too is I mean, Mike Brown, I think sometimes doesn't exactly want to make those commitments, but he knows he has to.
Yeah,
and I think also though with the Bengals is I think they want their players to feel like they care about them and that they're giving them these big contracts because they want them to show how much they mean to the team. Yeah, and I think that's good, but. Yeah, it's like I didn't expect him to. Honestly, I didn't expect Joe Burrow to be getting paid that much. I expected him to be getting paid less than like what Lamar's contract was, and even Justin Herbert, just because it was such a big
Cincinnati.
Yeah, just because it was such a big contract, and it's like with Joe Burrow playing with these guys and wanting to keep these guys around. I figured he would take a little less money. Now, maybe that's not like. I mean, they may have just came out straight out the gate and like they're like, all right, we're giving you this amount of money. And he's like, all right, I'll take that. I mean, that's a lot of money. Yeah. It may not have been from his side a lot. Like, can we get more? The Bengals may have came straight out the gate with that. I mean, we have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
and
you don't know.
He can always. I'm sure there's definitely ways for him to restructure his contract for Jamar if need be. But that's the thing with Jamar. It's like, is Jamar going to take less because he wants to keep someone else around? I don't know.
He could. But if you ask me, I think it's going to be Jamar is going to – the Bengals have to, and I mean have to extend Jamar.
They're going to. There's no way they don't.
You don't let a generational talent wide receiver
if the Bengals don't extend Jamar at some point, like if Jamar gets traded in the next couple years or in the next couple years he becomes a free agent and signs somewhere else.
Somebody's done something.
I literally will take off like – my shirt and pants and run into the creek out there and jump into it and swim for like 20 minutes. And that's probably not safe because I don't know what's in that creek. But that is not going to happen. There's no way.
There's no way. I mean, everybody talks about how Cincinnati runs through Joe Burrow, and I think that's true.
And Jamar.
I think Cincinnati runs through Joe Burrow, but Cincinnati's favorite player is Jamar Chase. I think my favorite player is Jamar Chase. I think a lot of people could say that.
He's one of my favorite players.
I remember the draft season when everybody was on the Penei Sewell train, and I was like, man, but it would be the coolest thing ever to have Jamar. And they drafted him, and I was like, yes. I remember texting my dad. I remember I was so excited. Everybody hated on that pick. They got like a C, D grade for that pick, and then
you could say whang. And you could say either way. Like if they would have took Penei Sewell, I mean, either way, honestly, would have been a good pick. I mean, Penei Sewell's been a very good tackle.
He has. He's great.
But honestly, I think Jamar was the better pick just because that just completely changed their offense, their receivers, the plays they can run, getting down the field. Penei Sewell would be great to have on our team, but I think Jamar was the better pick. I think they made the right decision there.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the time, I was honestly more on the Penei Sewell train, but just because Burrow was getting sacked so many times, and I'm just like, just give us Penei Sewell. Yeah. But I think it was a good decision by them to take Jamar.
Yeah.
And I think he's been great so far, and I think he's going to just continue to be great as long as he doesn't get injured, as long as Burrow doesn't get injured. I think.
I mean, but back to what we were saying. I think he's going to get paid top dollar. He's going to get extended.
Agree.
He's going to make just as much, if not more money than Jefferson.
He'll probably be making more.
And I don't know how that clears up for T. Higgins unless...
Not well. I don't expect T. Higgins to be there next year.
I could see both of them maybe say... I mean, Joe Burrow's on a 5-year contract, which hasn't started yet. It starts now. Because last year, I think he was still on his rookie deal, if I'm not... I think that's how that works.
I don't even know what the contracts are.
And then... Jamar, if he signs a contract, he will be on his rookie deal next year. But I would assume he'll sign it for 4 years, maybe. I think both of them are going to do what Patrick Mahomes has been doing recently and kind of stretch those out. And then maybe you can squeeze the room in that salary cap for T. Higgins. Because there's still room in the salary cap.
They could re-sign. They could sign all three of them if they want to. But it's
I don't think they want.
No, and honestly, I'm perfectly fine with them not. Okay, so for this year, I think this is the year that you go all out. Hopefully, nobody gets injured. This is the Super Bowl year. If they don't make the Super Bowl, then I don't know. I think this is the year to do it. I think it's now. I think they have the best team that they've had. I think their team now is better than it was when they were in the Super Bowl. And I just feel like, now's the time to win. I mean, if you don't, you don't. I mean, but I think now's the time to win, and that's what they're thinking. So next year, it's like it's going to suck, but I don't think they stay with T. Higgins. I think Yoshi takes his role, and I think they run with Jermaine Burton in the slot and Charlie Jones in the slot. I think they have some young guys out there. They just go with the young talent. I mean, T's young too, but still, I mean, it's going to be young regardless, and they just rock with that. Maybe they draft another receiver at some point. I mean, what else really do they need on their team? I mean, other than when people have to leave because they're free agents. But honestly, that's what I see happening. Like I said, unless they draft or trade for somebody else, but that's just what I see happening personally. So I mean, next I would probably just say, because like I said, we're going to discuss how it's going to affect the rest of the season. So with these mini camps happening, like with all the players performing how they are, do we think there's going to be anybody making any big jumps where they're going to be playing more than what they did? Anybody getting their spots taken?
If I will be very frustrated if there is not a big jump in Chase Brown's production and
that's exactly who I was thinking of.
I mean, I need him to. I mean, he was under Joe Mixon, now he's under Zach Moss. I think the offensive line has improved. We talked about how that could get messy, but I think he's not going to be taking a majority of the carries. He might not. He's not. I don't even think he's going to take 50% of the carries. But I want him getting a very solid amount of carries, and I want it. I hope Zach Moss turns out a lot. But part of me really hopes that it's like, this year is Zach Moss, and then next year is Chase Brown. Like, we're going to let Chase Brown develop, and if he turns into that guy, he is our guy for the next however long. I mean, and if Zach Moss turns out, then Zach Moss can be that guy, and you extend him whatever. But I think Chase Brown will take a huge jump. I think he's my big candidate to take a huge jump.
Yeah, and I'm kind of almost, I agree with that, but I'm almost kind of flipped too. So Chase Brown, I think is definitely gonna have a huge jump, but it's not just a matter of carries; it's also a matter of him getting work, being a receiver. I mean, they definitely are gonna do that, run screen pass. I mean, they ran so many screen plays,
and they worked.
I mean, there was like a few games straight where they ran at least like 3 screen plays a game to Chase Brown. I mean, they were doing it like a lot.
Some worked, some didn't.
And more than 3 even. I mean, that's generous. I mean, there's more than that. But it did work. I mean, it's not like it didn't work. And I think now there's going to be more like just because, okay, here's the thing too, is those screenplays, they knew. I think part of the reason they did that is they knew he was their most, I mean, you could say Jamar, but for the most part, he was their most explosive player on the team. So they knew if they got him the ball, he can make big plays. Like, for example, he was let me check my phone. Where's my phone? Up there, recording. Never mind. Forgot I was the one recording, not you. I always am. So I don't know why I
you
forgot.
can use my phone if you want, but if you're
no, but
about, like,
I
game
already
speed,
think. Yeah, I already think I know. I think he was number 3.
He was up there.
2, 4.
I'm thinking
somewhere top 4.
I hate to say it was 2, but I feel like it was 2 because I know DK was 1. Correct?
Okay, it may have been 4 because there would have been a chain, or however you pronounce his name.
But was
Devin Chain?
is it A-Chain or A-Chan or I don't know. People
Okay,
always-
regardless, I know
Yes.
he was in the top 5 for
Yes,
speed.
and
Regardless,
he is fast.
And then Jamar was up there, like top 10, top 15. So they have 2 very explosive players. Or no, Jamar was like 20 because I'm thinking of DJ Turner.
Yes.
Yeah, but regardless, they have 2 very explosive players. Now they with getting Jermaine Burton, and like I said, even Mike Gesicki from the tight end position, he's a very explosive player. So I mean, that's still an explosive player for his position, so they can still utilize him there. But for them getting these explosive players, I just think that's great because I think that's what the Bengals want to do. They want to be that team that runs on explosive plays. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what they want to do. They don't want to be like, who am I thinking of? Out of the Giants or something, for example. Just running the ball a lot. They're just trying to pick up yards. They're trying to get down the field.
Yeah. They want to be
like
they
a
want to be
team
the
like that.
Dolphins and
Yeah, they want to be the Dolphins. They want to throw to those threats, get
and
down
not
the field.
the Titans.
Yeah,
The
not
Titans
the
are a
Titans.
team
The
I think of.
Titans.
Well,
when with Derrick Henry,
Yes,
the
with
Derrick Henry
was
Titans.
handoff, screen pass or something.
That's
like
better.
that.
That's even better comparison. Yeah, they don't want to be the Derrick Henry Titans. They want to be the Miami Dolphins last year because they have the weapons to be as good as. I mean, if you look at Achane, he was a speed. So was Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
Both speed backs running outside. Okay, that's good. We have that with Chase Brown, and I think he's able to do all the things they're able to do, and I think he's going to improve, and he may be better than both those guys.
Yeah.
But you also have someone like a Zach Moss, who Dolphins don't really have that. They don't have a guy who, I mean, Jeff Wilson, kind of, but I think Zach Moss is a better player by far. And I think Zach Moss is going to be able to do things that Chase Brown can't do, and they're going to be able to play off each other's strengths and weaknesses. Because Zach Moss, like I said, he's a bigger dude. He's also very athletic, but he's going to be more of a ground and pound, get up through the tackles, run for some good yardage. He can break away for explosive plays still.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm saying he's going to be the guy that takes the ball, gets 4 yards. No, he can get explosive plays still, but he's going to be more of a Mixon type of player.
Yeah.
Mixon was the guy who give the ball.
He's your 3-down back.
He can explode. He's more of a 3-down back. He can pick up those yards. I mean, he's exactly. He's a 3-down back. He's more diverse. He can do whatever. But then Chase Brown is more of a niche type of role that he has where he's a speed guy. He can get to the outside, catch passes. So like I said, I think they can just play off each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I think they can just play so well. Like I said with the Dolphins, they're both speed guys. That's good. But I almost think it's better though the way the Bengals have their backfield structured.
And while we're talking about players that I expect to take a huge jump in the future, people are going to get tired of me talking about this guy. But yes, I am talking about top 5 safety in the league, Jordan Battle. Yeah. And I am confident in that.
Agree.
People could say that I like Jordan Battle too much or whatever. But from what I saw last year, I was amazed with Jordan Battle last year.
Well, for him being a rookie, the part that made me just like, okay, I really like this guy is just the plays he made. Even like looking in preseason, the plays he's made, like the tackles he was making. I mean, you could just tell he was thinking like his football knowledge. Just he was moving faster than a lot of the other guys.
Yeah, and I mean that could be an Alabama defensive back thing because Alabama defensive backs are very smart.
But not even just that. Like I said, like I saw something somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but when they were meeting with him, they were talking. They were very impressed. Like they were amazed of how intelligent he was. So I think it is partially with the program. I mean, Alabama's a very like high up program. Yeah. But also, I just think this type of person that he is. Oh yeah. He's just very susceptible to that, and he wants to learn. He wants to continue to build on that and just be a very smart football player.
I just think last year you come into the year. I think I would say he started the last probably 8 games. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it was about 4 games in, it was proven that he was a better safety than Nick Scott.
Oh, 100%. Nick Scott was...
Yeah, Nick Scott had a very bad...
toast.
And so I think it took about 4 games for them to realize he was better than Nick Scott. And I think it took me halfway into the season to a little bit farther into the season to realize he was playing better than Dax Hill. And I
really
love
was.
Dax Hill. I mean,
honestly, Dax Hill had a couple really good games.
Yes. But
Yeah.
as far as consistency and reliability goes,
That's what it was.
He was. There was games where outside of Trey Hendrickson, he was the Bengals defense.
I agree.
He was hitting spots that you don't expect him to hit, and it was. I mean, he looked like an experienced safety out there. I don't want to say Jesse Bates because he doesn't play like Jesse Bates.
Yeah, they play completely different, but
I just mean the way they're a safety taking over the field. I mean, Jesse Bates would play back and he could cover the entire field. That's what made him so good. He's probably the best safety in the league right now with the Falcons. I think he's great.
yeah.
So it's like
Von Bell almost though he plays a little bit like Von Bell.
he kind of does.
I mean, I think he's almost a better coverage safety than Von Bell. Almost, I would say.
Yeah.
But neither of them really are coverage safeties. They're mainly like tackling safeties.
Yeah.
But the way that they tackle is very like they both hit pretty hard and they both like make contact soon, like with the runner. Like they'll be hitting people behind the line of scrimmage, right at the line of scrimmage. Like they read plays very well.
Yeah.
And I think that's good with them reacquiring Von Bell.
Yeah.
Because I think, like I said, they play similar, and I think Von Bell is going to keep influencing Jordan Battle to do those type of things, and they're going to be they play similar. They're going to be feeding off each other. I don't know who's going to start over who. I know what you think.
Yeah.
But realistically, I just don't know.
In my opinion.
But I think it's great. I think Jordan Battle's great, and I think he's just going to continue to improve, and I think he's just.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to come back to this video and talk about how smart I am in 4 years when Jordan Battle is a top 5 safety in the league, and everybody's like, "Wow, he's a 3-time All-Star and he's incredible," and or Pro Bowler. I get confused. I mean, it's the same thing.
But someone else I wanted to talk about.
Okay, yeah, I gave my 2. You can.
Are you done
give a couple.
with Jordan Battle?
Yes, I am. Okay. I am now officially.
My person, because you already kind of took literally both of mine.
Yeah.
No, this was the first guy I was thinking of, but those two I also agree.
I get the feeling.
I knew you were going to take Jordan Battle.
I feel like, can I make a guess on who you're going to say?
Who do you think I'm going to trade?
DJ Turner.
Juan Drago.
Juan Drago, baby.
DJ Turner. That's exactly what I was going to say. DJ Turner is like, kind of like, I feel the same way with you and Jordan Battle, but like the specificness of the person, of like how much you like them, like, I'm kind of like that with DJ Turner.
Yeah.
Because DJ Turner, I mean, he had some bad plays, I know, but he was a rookie, so that's going to happen. DJ Turner is so freaking athletic.
Oh, yeah.
And he is not, like, what I like about DJ Turner is he uses his athleticism, and he's not scared to go in and just make a big hit. Because DJ Turner really is not that big of a guy.
No.
He's not. But he's not scared at all. Like you mentioned Jesse Bates. I know he's a corner. Jesse Bates is a safety. I'm aware. But neither of them are very big guys.
Yeah.
But they're not scared to go in there and hammer somebody. And like they play kind of similar. They both kind of recognize those plays where they go in and they make those tackles. Because DJ Turner, like I think honestly, I think at Michigan he was more of a covered safety. I'm not 100% sure, but I meant a cornerback is what I meant. I'm thinking maybe I'm wrong, but I'm thinking that's what he was, more of a coverage cornerback. But he was more of a tackling cornerback. For the Bengals, I mean, he was making big plays.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but I know that there was a big play he had where he stopped. I want to say it was a quarterback like Mahomes or somebody took off running in the red zone, and he made a big hit and stopped them from getting a touchdown. I don't remember. I just like have vague.
Can I make a theory on this?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of not last year, but the year before that, Eli Apple?
No, I'm not thinking of
because
Eli
he did
Apple.
that to Tyreek Hill against the Chiefs.
No, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of DJ Turner. I know it's DJ Turner.
They wear the same number, and I know that was like
Yeah.
Eli Apple's like
not who I was
selling
thinking of.
point that year was he was like, I hit Tyreek Hill before he got into the end zone.
No,
Yada yada yada.
It was not Eli. I know it was DJ Turner, but I don't. And it may not have been like a 4th down stop or anything, but I know it was like a big play because he absolutely hammered him.
Yeah.
And I just think DJ Turner, like I said, I'm not 100% sure, so I don't know, but I think he was more of a coverage safety at Michigan.
Corner.
Or covers. Why do I keep saying safety? I keep thinking of Jesse Bates. Corner at Michigan, but he played so good as a tackler for the Bengals, and I think his coverage, because he's such a capable coverage corner because of his athleticism. He's got some length. He's not huge. I mean, he's not like a super muscular guy or anything like that. But I just think he has a good frame, and he's very athletic, and I think he can play so much better in the coverage because that's more of what it is. Honestly, I feel like. In the NFL, that's what's hard. It's harder to play to the coverage than what it is to the tackling.
Yeah.
Because the receivers you're going up against are like just so much better because they've been in the NFL for long. They have so much more experience. So he did get burnt sometimes, but so I mean that's why people are like, oh, he got absolutely cooked. Okay, but he's also a rookie and he's trying to develop to these because also you got to think too is all these different receivers. You've got to know how they play, and there's corners that they know how these receivers play. Like Jalen Ramsey, for example, I saw like he was doing like this little thing where he's talking about all the players he plays, the way he plays. He's saying that he knows the way the receivers plays, so he plays every receiver different. Richard Sherman talked about the same thing. Which he's going to develop that. I mean, DJ Turner's going to develop knowing how to play certain receivers because I mean last year it's like he's playing them for the first time. You study film, all this, but you don't actually feel it on the field. I feel like he's going to take a big jump. I mean, with his athleticism too.
I can see that.
I mean, there's not many guys that are that athletic.
No.
So
corners, I mean, Reek Woolen.
There's corners. Corners are an athletic position, but I'm saying just to the speed he's at.
He's definitely up there.
Athleticism.
Yeah. Can you think of any others? Because I kind of said two. I mean, I think we were both going to say Chase Brown, and then I gave my Jordan Battle. Bill, you gave your DJ Turner.
So we're saying like just in general, like jumps are just rookies.
I mean, anybody.
Because you said Chase Brown.
Anybody that could at this point.
Yeah, Jordan Battle's not a rookie either. Maybe. DJ Turner's not a rookie either. None of us have said rookies yet.
Yeah, any player on the team that could make just a huge jump.
Yeah.
This year. I mean, they don't have to.
Based off last year.
I mean, based off.
I'm thinking
anything really.
Well, obviously Yoshi. That's a big one, I think. But I think he's already shown some of that.
Yeah.
Well, someone I think who's going to make a big jump, who just kind of came to my mind.
Yeah.
Charlie Jones.
Okay.
I think he is because Charlie Jones, I think, is going to be more of a returner.
Are we just going to pick the whole stinking 23 draft? I mean, we've said the second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick.
The thing is, they had a really good draft that year.
Yeah,
they did, and it's like they have all these players have so much potential. So it's like I really think they're going to be able to make this jump.
Yeah,
and like no, Charlie Jones though. I mean, Charlie Jones had a couple good plays, and like I said, I just remember because I was at the game. He had like a deep route where he got overthrown, and he would have had a touchdown. I mean, he had that breakaway return.
Yeah.
He's a great returner. He's athletic. I think he can make a big jump. And I'm not saying a big jump as in like he's going to be a starter. He's going to play over Jermaine Burton.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to prove why he should be on the field this year.
I was just thinking about that because I almost said Miles Murphy, and then I was like,
Miles Murphy.
Picks 1 through 6.
That's exactly
in the 20.
That's another one though. Miles Murphy, actually, I don't know how I did not think of him. Miles Murphy, I think, is going to have a huge jump. I think he's going to have more of a jump than what Charlie Jones is going to have. Blah, blah, blah. Miles Murphy, I think, is going to have a huge jump. Miles Murphy did not play that much last year.
Not.
Miles Murphy, every time I was watching Miles Murphy on the field, there was never a time where I'm like, what is this guy doing? This guy's terrible. It was more of, okay, this guy's playing good. He should be playing more. And yeah, I think Miles Murphy's. I think he's going to have a big jump. And okay, we're going back to that draft class, but I think he really is a great player, and I think he has so much potential. And just the way he plays, I mean, he had a few sacks last year, and he wasn't getting on the field very much. So I do think Miles Murphy's going to make a big jump.
I was just thinking about that, and that just cracks me up. I think we hit the first round, second round. Second round DJ Turner, third round Jordan Battle, fourth round Charlie Jones, fifth round Chase Brown, sixth round Yoshi.
I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, it was a pretty solid draft.
Yeah,
I think they had 2 sixth-round picks because they also picked Brad Robbins, and then they just picked DJ Ivy, which we didn't talk about.
Brad Robbins, is he going to make a jump, or is he getting cut from the team? And the dude that they just picked up, I forget his name. Yeah, is he going to take his spot?
I don't know, because every year I'm like, they had Huber, and then I was like, oh, Drew Chrisman was really good in college. Drew Chrisman came in and was not good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, Brad Robbins, they picked him in the 6th round. He has to be good. He was not good. And then
everybody just thinks since punters played good in college, like they're a punter, they're going to kick good in the NFL. It's still different.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still different.
It's so
I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know anything about punting, but I mean, it's obviously it's still different. There's levels to stuff. I mean, the NFL is a whole different situation. So I don't know.
I can't really think of anybody. else.
I just thought of somebody, and then as soon as you said Brad Robbins, I forgot. Shoot. Give me 1 second. I think it was a big dude. I think it was a lineman or something. Oh yeah. Okay, I know exactly who it was.
Okay.
We were just talking about him, and I think he gets more hate when we're talking about him than what he does like praise.
Cordell Volson?
Cordell Volson. I think
Okay.
Cordell Volson is going to make a jump, and I don't think Trent Brown is going to play guard. I think Cordell Volson is going to play better guard because Cordell Volson, if I'm thinking correctly, I saw something on PFF that his run grade for like a span of like I don't know how many games it was, a certain amount of games was like extremely high.
Really?
But his passing block grade was awful.
Yeah.
And I think his run grade on the year wasn't great, but I think it was like a span towards the end of the year.
Okay.
It was getting better. I like I said, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I saw something.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, too, is you got to realize he wasn't an early pick or anything. He was from a small school.
Yeah.
And he played at a starting level.
He did. I think he started his rookie year. I think,
Yeah, I think he did. I think he was
he's
started
going
first
into
year
year 3, and I think he was.
I'm pretty
picked
sure.
in the 22 draft with Dax Hill.
Yeah. And if he didn't start, he definitely had a role on the team.
That's just
for
how
sure.
I memorize all the picks. Is just by who was
Yeah.
the first
Who was the
round
first
pick.
rounder.
Like if you tell me the first round pick, I can just go through. Like that's why I was so good at the college game.
Yeah.
Because I can just be like if you're like Joe Burrow, I can just like T. Higgins, Logan Wilson, Akeem Davis Gaither, and then it gets like it was like Hakeem Adeniji and do you remember? Oh my gosh, what was his name? He wore eye black all over his face. Khalid Kareem. Do you remember him? Khalid Kareem
I know
out
the
of
name.
Notre Dame.
Was he a linebacker?
No, defensive lineman. I just remember they played like the Broncos one game.
I know that name.
They played like the Broncos one game, and Drew Lock like scrambled out, and he just like stole the ball from Drew Lock, started running, and then fumbled the ball again.
I remember him. I remember because he had a couple good plays for the Bengals.
But he was never, and he was on the Colts within like 2 years. But I'm just saying,
I do remember him.
I can just like that's how I
he wasn't
memorize
great,
all
but I
these
remember him
picks.
having like a couple
It's who
random
their
plays
first round
that were
pick
good.
was.
Yeah. Okay. But no, yeah, Cordell Volson. I think he's going to make a jump, and I think Cordell Volson, with the situation he was thrown into, being a later pick from a smaller school, he's not playing as good a competition as what a lot of these other guys are playing who are in the NFL. What they were playing in college. So I think him getting thrown in, and it's like, yeah, he's had a couple years, but I don't know. He still played to a starting level. He's kept that spot.
Yeah.
So obviously he's playing good enough to be a starter. He hasn't been great, but I don't know. I think he can get better again. Obviously he can get better, but I think he will get better. I do. I mean, another guy like is Jackson Carman. We were mentioning.
I personally don't think he's going to develop.
Jackson Carman I don't know. The thing is, I'm not saying he's going to have he's one of the guys that's going to have a big jump, but it's like Jackson Carman is still one of those guys where it's like, I don't know. Because everybody wants to call him a bust, but it's like there's been just a couple plays where it's like Jackson Carman, like I don't know. I mean, am I saying he's going to play, like be a starter? No, he's not going to start. Is he going to play very often? No, he's not going to.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think he can take a jump. And I think when he subbed in, when there was injuries, he wasn't playing terrible. Like, I think that he did get, there was a couple penalties that were called on him.
He does tend to.
But I just think he can continue to play better, and I think he can be a decent backup for when people get injured to be able to come in. Because, I think that's what it was mainly, was when he got into games, it was penalties.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you can easily refine if you just work on that. And, I mean, young guys tend to get more penalties than what veterans do.
Yeah.
So I think he's someone that can improve. Am I saying he's going to improve to a starter? No, but I'm saying he can improve to be a quality backup.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the picks they picked this year. I mean, they don't have anything to go off of.
Yeah, you can't see. Yeah.
I'm hoping they're going to all make a big jump from college and play good in the NFL.
But I don't know. I think we've covered about all of them. I really just had those two and Miles Murphy kind of were the two that I wanted to speak
Miles
on.
Murphy. I completely forgot about
Jordan
him.
Battle and Chase Brown were the two.
Yeah, those are my man. And then DJ Turner. Juan Drago. I want to talk about him.
I knew as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, he loves DJ Turner. And I like DJ Turner. But I think it's like the opposite. You like Jordan Battle. I love Jordan Battle. I like DJ Turner. You love DJ Turner. I just think.
No Diddy, though.
No Diddy. Sure. Okay.
We're not going to get fined. We don't have enough followers for that. Okay. But, I would say, we covered about everything with that. And, I like those players. You like your players. Yeah. But I think the Bengals have a good team. I think they have a lot of young talent. And I think that they're going to continue to improve. And I'm hoping that they're Super Bowl bound this year. we're going to see.
Yeah.
Like we said,
Just
that
have to see how it
defense, we
goes.
talked a lot about the defense. We talked about the offense too, mainly the receivers, and then Chase Brown, like the running back situation.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that the offense comes together with all the pieces that they picked up and plays good, and I'm hoping that the defense, like, because they're young, they learn and they continue to do better, because last year, I don't think they played bad, but their numbers were not good. Their they gave up so many rushing yards. The run defense was not good.
Yeah.
That I know, like you can tell it was awful. Their pass defense, you couldn't tell was as bad, but I think it's because their pass defense was either letting up big plays or getting big plays.
Yeah.
So I think they just need to work on being more consistent.
Yeah.
And then they need to stop the run better. And then there you go. I think their defense is already, boom, they do that. They're top 15 defense. And their offense, I think, is going to continue to be good when they have Joe Burrow under the center.
So,
Yeah. So anything else you want to discuss?
I can't think of anything else. I think we've
All
pretty
right.
much hit
Well,
it
I
all.
guess we covered everything for the OTAs and how it's going to affect the season. We'll figure out what we're doing in the next one. Thank you for everybody tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Peace.